the way the team played in non-conference as a whole, and do you feel like the team's kind of finding its identity heading into conference play?
For the early part of the non-conference schedule, I thought we had a lot of different guys on different nights score the ball. That was encouraging to me. You look at, we went with the smaller guard lineup a couple games in, and each one of those guys had games over 25 points. Jalen Hill has had that. Sam got over 20-point game. So, coaches always worry about scoring, and with a new team, and we've had different guys, different nights in a lot of the games. The thing we've been able to do is I think we got some fight in us. I think we got some resiliency in us that and some belief. There's a great chemistry in the locker room about believing, these preseason things. It doesn't matter to us. I mean, we know we're facing the preseason #1 team in the country. They're a ton of respect. Preseason #1 SEC team in Alabama. We know just a ton of respect for the program and what they do. But there's an inner confidence. It's a confident respect I think we have, and it's how hard we're working in practice, how hard we prepare, and I think that's what you like to see too in this era of a lot of new guys on a new team, that they're pulling for each other.
Porter, what are some of those challenges that Alabama presents for you guys going into this one?
There's a number of challenges. One is their transition's so elite. They play so fast. They have one of the best point guards in the country, in Mark Sears, who's been to the Final Four. He's done it. Older, veteran. And then you have extreme length. I think the first thing you talk about is like, man, when they shoot 55 threes, you got to take away the three. But the silent killer is their offensive rebounding. I mean, they get like 41% of their shots back. They start with 3, 6, 11 guys. That's the silent killer, is you've got to rebound. They can get to the rim and rebound as good as anybody. Now you think about their pace and you think about all the threes they're taking, but the two killers are them getting to the rim and getting fouled, and the rebounding. They're elite at those things, and we got to be ready to get on the glass and get in their legs and block out.
Will this team come together the way that you thought, or have there been some surprises along the way, even for you and the staff?
Well, you're always optimistic, thinking like, man, this is our vision. We're putting the team together. We want everyone to pull for each other. So that's what you're always thinking and hoping as you put this thing together. But like we've talked about many times, the NIL is what it was. And we really went analytically with some efficient guys. And, I think Kobe and Duke are efficient guys with their numbers. I think Bryson Gadeen can shoot the ball. We're still waiting on Jadon, but like Bryson was an efficient three-point shooter. And then along came the opportunity to get Fears. And he just has made a huge impact on us on a lot of reasons. The pace of play, the bigger guard, the scoring ability, passing ability. So I think these guys and the older guys are recognizing that, and they bring him along, but also know that he's a guy that's really good with the ball in his hand.
Porter, you said Sunday, I think you guys have only quad 1 and 2 games remaining. Just what is it like preparing mentally for that and physically for that? And what did you learn last year going through a similar thing in the Big 12?
You literally, you got to take your schedule and put something over it and just slowly look at the one in front of you and not be able to have your peripheral vision see the rest of it. Because it's daunting. It's opportunity. We're going to be playing the best of the best. It's unprecedented what the SEC's done. Unprecedented. And I, like I told you guys last time we were sitting here after the game, and I feel like I've said that 3 years in a row. And, here we go again saying it, but it is truly unprecedented what the SEC's done. Every night is going to be high quad 1 games, and you got to be ready. You're going to have some mental toughness and resolve to go through what you're going to go through. Like Alabama's 35-2 the last 2.5 years at home. One of the best home teams in the country. There's a lot of venues we're going to play at that are not easy to win at, but you got to find ways to win. You got to find ways to win. You got to piece together and believe and stay together. And I think that's where you need a close locker room, that it doesn't get fractured easily. And that's hopefully that foundation of that hopefully has been building since they got here in June. You know, it's not all of a sudden you're talking about not getting fractured through adversity or going through the gauntlet. And I think we've spent months, the guys, of putting together a foundation of culture with the guys, and that it doesn't get fractured as you enter this gauntlet.
Porter, you mentioned you mentioned Jeremiah a bit ago. When you're heading into a conference slate, like you mentioned, it's a gauntlet night in, night out. Just for him, when you know he's going to be high on scouting reports, his first time going through conference play, just what's going to be important for him, you know, starting on Saturday?
To just keep focusing it on what his job, what he's doing, you know, and you know, the lack of focus, not by him, but by sometimes guys that they're thinking about other things. You know, when he's locked in and he stays locked in, and he watches extra tape, he's in there shooting extra shots. He's physically a physical offensive guard. Those are things that can get you out of rhythm if you're not a physical guard. He's a physical offensive guard. But understanding that, you know, that he is one of our best assist guys, that to set up other guys as well. But I'm not going to overthink it with him. He does a lot of really good things. We're going to keep coaching the heck out of him, keep pushing him, keep holding him accountable. And to his credit, he's so good with all that. He wants to be great. You know, he wants to be better. And I think he's excited to play the teams we're going to play. I think he's excited about that.
Coach, you talked a little bit about those home court advantages in the SEC. What do you expect from Sooner fans? What do you hope to see from Sooner fans as you guys kind of enter the gauntlet?
Well, you're just hoping that this LNC becomes one of those venues that they say is really hard to play against. And I've seen it, and it can be loud. And you know, we got, but you do. It's going to be that hard to hear and do that on the road. And we got to make LNC the same thing, the same way. And but as a player, whether you're home or away, you play the game the same way. I've always said this. You guys have heard me say this about Coach Majerus. He really didn't make a big deal about home or away. You play the game the same way. You play it the right way. You got to defend. You got to rebound. You got to take care of the ball. You got to share it. And we can't be thinking, oh, if we're on the road, we're at home. We got to be playing the right way and focusing on us. But secondarily, you hope that we had that kind of atmosphere.
How close get on, Joe? Any closer to really getting back and forth?
Yeah, I'd say they're closer. They're doing some live actions now. It's just, you know, it's the live action stuff is the daily grind of it, to where you don't really worry about injury because their legs aren't strong enough to handle the live stuff. But they're definitely closer. They're in live play now.
What are you with Porter? You know, changing rosters. Every team's new year to year. So your guys, they don't know what the Big 12 even was. So they don't have an adjustment. Do you have an adjustment in a new league? Because you at least knew the coaches after 3 years. You knew the coaches.
Yeah.
Is there any adjustment for your staff and the program in general?
No, I think the thing that I am finding, you know, we had played almost 8 to 10 SEC games in the first 3 years, is everyone just talked about how incredibly physical and old the Big 12 had been. I think they've always, you know, you look at the numbers of players drafted. The last 5 years, SEC almost doubles the next highest. And we got all the stats. I'll show them to you. Players drafted the last 5 years, SEC blows away everybody. They've had some of the best young freshman talent in the country every year. The Big 12's, their philosophy kind of seemed like in the portal to stay old. I mean, they was older, and all of a sudden you're facing, you know, teams that were like average age was 23. And so that was kind of a perception, saying that the Big 12 is the most physical league by far. And it probably was. So there's really not going to be adjustment, because my take on this is I've watched the SEC get old. SEC is combined with some of the best freshmen in the country, with some of the best older guards in the country. Just think some of the older guards, you know that you're looking at that are in the league. Some guys that have been around 3-4 years that are elite and unbelievable physical teams. You watch Auburn, you watch Tennessee, you watch Texas A&M, you watch these teams, how in Mississippi State, everyone, Mississippi, I can go to line, Florida, I saw them firsthand. Just incredible physicalness. So that's the thing that we've been around. You're right. Only Sam and Jalen and Luke got minutes in the Big 12 with us. So you really can't reference it because it is a new team. You know, all we can talk about is, man, Alabama, transition D. You got to get back. You got to block off. You got to be ready for how physical they are. You can't be soft going in that lane. They got rim protectors. You can just talk about the now, the present of that team, and I think that's what you have to do.